Hey guys, going through 21B right now. If you look at number one is actually an order of operations problem. So with the order of operations, you're going to follow PEMDAS. So I'm going to do first the exponent. This would be 3 times 2 cubed is 8. 8 divided by 4 plus 6 minus 7 times 2. Okay, at this point I'm going to do what's in the grouping right here. This is going to be 3 times 2. 8 divided by 4 is 2 plus 6. And that's going to be minus 7 times 2. Continue with the grouping. It's going to be 3 times 8 minus 7 times 2. So then I'm going to get 24 minus 14 for a final answer of 10. Okay, number 2. Don't be confused. We're not distributing. Notice this is multiplication between the 8 and 4. It's not addition and subtraction or subtraction. Distribution only works with addition or subtraction. So here we're going to again follow order of operations. 8 times 4 is 32, so we're going to have 1/4 times 32 plus 3 times 12. Okay, 1/4 times 32 is 8, and 3 times 12 is 36. So we get 8 plus 36 for a final answer of 44. Okay, moving on, number 3, we're going to evaluate each expression. In this case, x is -3. So -4 times -3 squared minus 2 times my z is -6. So when I evaluate this, I'm going to be careful. -3 squared is positive 9. So -4 times 9 plus 12. -4 times 9 is -36 plus 12 gives me -24. Okay, number 4, a negative z. So if I have a -6, that actually becomes a positive 6. So it's going to be 6 plus 2 times my x is -3, my y is 2. Okay, following order of operations, this is going to become 6 plus, I've got a -6 because 2 times 3 is -6 times 2. So 6 plus a -12 or 6 minus 12 would give me a -6 as an answer. Okay. The next one we're going to solve the following equation. So here I'm going to use DC-MAM. Okay, DC-MAM. I'm going to start by distributing. So I've got c minus 2 minus 12 plus 2c. Okay, don't forget a negative times a negative here is a positive. That's going to equal -37. Okay, I want to combine my like terms. I've got a c and a 2c, so 3c. Okay, 3c, I've got a -2 and a -12, so 3c minus 14 is equal to -37. Now I'm going to add 14 to both sides. Okay, when I add 14 to both sides, I've got 3c is going to be equal to a -23. So then when I finally divide by 3, my final answer is c is equal to -23/3. And I am simplified, so that is my answer. Number 6, when I distribute, I get negative 12y plus 15 is equal to -8y minus 17. I'm going to add 8y to both sides. Okay, so when I do that, I end up with -4y plus 15 is equal to, these will cancel out, -17. Now I'm going to subtract 15 from both sides. When I do that, I've got -4y is equal to a -32. And then when I divide by -4, my final answer is going to be y, and this is a 4, not a y. Y is going to be equal to 8. Okay, moving on. Now I've got a 3/5 times 20c. This is actually a nice fraction. This becomes 60/5, which is actually 12c. Okay, 12c, and 3/5 times 5 is 15/5, which is really 3. 12c plus 3 equals 12c minus 9. Okay, I'm going to subtract 12c from both sides. And when I do that, I end up with, canceling out on both sides, 3 is equal to -9. That's a false statement, so we know we have no solution. Okay. Number 8, okay, we're set up like a proportion, so we're actually going to multiply -2 times 4, so cross products. So we'll do this and this. -2 times 4 is -8. -8 times 3a minus 4 is going to be equal to, and 8 times -6 is -48 times 10 minus a. Okay, when I distribute, I get -24a plus 32 is equal to -480 plus 48a. Okay, I'm going to subtract 48a from both sides. All right, and when I do that, I end up with negative 72a plus 32 is equal to negative 480. Okay, these will cancel out. Okay, from here I'm going to subtract 32 from both sides. When I do that, I get negative 72a is equal to negative 517. And then when I divide both sides by negative 72, okay, I end up with a is equal to, all right, a simplified version would be 64/9. Okay, that was tough. We're going to simplify both and divide both by 8. All right, looking at the next one, number 9. Again, we have a nice fraction. So when I do number 9, I'm going to just distribute 1/2 times 24x, and I'm going to get 12x. So I get 12x, okay, minus 4 equals 12x minus 4. When I subtract the 12x from both sides, I end up with negative 4 equals negative 4. This is a true statement, and because it's a true statement, I know my solution is all real numbers. Okay, number 10. I'm going to start by combining my like terms on either side. Here I've got a negative 14c plus 1 is going to be equal to, and we'll combine 3 minus 2, so we get a negative 14c, okay, plus 1. Again, I'm going to subtract, I'm going to add 14c to both sides in this case. And very similar to the last one, I end up with 1 equals 1. That again is a true statement, so my solution is all real numbers. Okay, number 11, when I distribute, I've got negative 3y plus 18 is equal to 8y plus 16. Okay, when I do that, I'm going to subtract negative 8y from both sides, or 8y from both sides. When I do that, I've got negative 11y plus 18 is equal to 16. I'll subtract my 18 from both sides. And when I do that, negative 11y is going to be equal to a negative 2. So when I divide by negative 11, I end up with y is equal to 2/11. Okay, let's erase this. All right, the next one we've got here, 4 times 2 is 8. 8 minus 12x is equal to 4 minus 7x. I'm going to add 7x to both sides. When I do that, I've got 8 minus 5x is equal to 4. As these cancel out, I'm going to subtract my 8 from both sides. So I get negative 5x is equal to negative 4. And then when I divide by negative 5, we end up with x is equal to negative 4 over negative 5, which makes it a positive 4/5. Okay, 13, we've got a word problem. The manager at the bookstore bought 60 pens at a display stand for a total of $35. If the display stand costs $8, how much did each pen cost? So let's start out with our let statement. Let's let C equal the pen cost. We're not sure how much it is, but we do know we bought 60 of them, so 60 times the cost, plus the cost of the stand, which is just once, so a constant of $8, and we know we spent $35. So there's our equation. Now we just simply have to solve it. When we do that, we end up with 60C is equal to 27. So then when we divide by 60, we end up with our cost is equal to 0.45 or 45 cents. Number 14, the sum of 3 consecutive in numbers is 108. What is the third number? So let's let x be the first number. If x is the first number, then the second number is going to be x plus 1 because it's consecutive, and the third number is going to be x plus 2. So that's our third number. If we take the sum, that means we're adding them together. So we take our first, we add our second, and we add the third, and we should get 108. Combining like terms, we'll get 3x plus 3, and that's going to be 108. So I'll subtract my 3 from both sides. 3x is equal to 105. When I divide by 3, I find out my x is equal to 35. But remember, I just found my first number right here. I'm looking for the third number. So the third number, we're actually going to take x, which is 35, and add 2. And our third number is equal to 37. Okay, number 15, George is looking for a repair service for general household maintenance. One service charges $80 to join the service and $45 per hour. Another service charges $65 per hour. After how many hours of service is the total cost for the two services the same? Solve the equation for the indicated variable. All right, we're going to let H be equal to hours. All right. And in this example, it's an $80 fee to join the service and $45 per hour. The other service is $65 an hour, and we want to see when they're the same. So for them to be the same, we're just going to set them equal to each other. Okay, so when I do this, I'm going to subtract 45H from both sides. And we're just going to solve 80. So we'll have 80 is equal to, these will cancel out, 20H. And then we're going to divide both sides by 20. When we do that, we end up with 4 is equal to H, or 4 hours. All right, moving on. Now we've got functions. So we just had an assessment on this. You guys should be pretty good with this. So f of 3, every place we see an x, we're just going to put a 3. So 4 times 3 plus 2. So this would be 12 plus 3, which is 15. So the first answer should be 15. If we do g of negative, except it's f of 3. Let me go back. I think I made a little mistake there. It's 4 times 3 plus 2, not 3. Silly me. Okay. Erase that. Okay. So it's 4 times 3 plus 2. All right, and 12 plus 2 is 14, not 15. Mrs. Clemick makes mistakes too. Okay, g of negative 1. Every place I see an x, I'm going to put a negative 1. Okay, so this one would be 2 times negative 1 minus 4 plus a negative 1. Okay, negative 2 minus 4 minus 1. So this would give me an answer of negative 6 minus 1 is negative 7. All right, now get a little more complicated. F of negative 3 plus 1. Let's use the f function. So it's 4 times negative 3 plus 2, and then we're going to add the 1. Okay, negative 12 plus 2 plus 1. So this is going to be a negative 10 plus 1, which gives me a final answer of negative 9. All right, and now we've got an expression going into the g function. So this is going to be 2 times x plus 1 minus 4 plus an x plus 1. Okay, 2x when I distribute, 2x plus 2 minus 4 plus x plus 1. Combine my like terms and I end up with 3x. I've got a positive 2 minus 4 is negative 2. Negative 2 plus 1 is going to be minus 1. So my final answer is 3x minus 1. All right, looking at these properties, the first one is going to be the commutative property of addition. So commutative. Okay, I forgot an M. Oops, let me erase this. A little messy. It's not erasing. Come on. There it goes. Okay, so this one's going to be the commutative property of addition. Second one, we're multiplying by 0, so it's the multiplication property of 0, or just the zero product property. Third one, 22, is just reflexive. Okay, now I've got an if-then. If this, then that. This is symmetric. All right, and then we've got 11 plus 0 equals 11. That's the additive identity. All right, moving on. All right, finding the 0. Let's set the output to 0. This time we're going to distribute. Okay, negative, and then I'm going to subtract 18 from both sides. Negative 18 is equal to negative 3x. Divide both sides by negative 3. X is equal to 6. All right, 26. We're going to set it to 0. We're still finding the 0 of the function. So 0 is equal to 1/3 x minus 12. We add 12 to both sides. When we do that, we end up with 12 is equal to 1/3 x. Now we're going to multiply both sides by 3. So 3, we end up with 36 is equal to x, or x is equal to 36. Okay, this video can only be 15 minutes long, so I'm going to end this right now, and I'm going to start another video in a few minutes. Stay tuned for part 2.